Alrighty, people. Yes, that is right. Our third week in a row doing a Dynasty stream before Monday Night Football. We'll probably keep doing this, I don't know, maybe until our Christmas break. We'll have to figure that out. Depends if you guys still want Dynasty team reviews. As long as you guys want Dynasty team reviews, we'll keep going live. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. Go ahead and be a friend and hit that like button as today's stream begins. Let me just see if we're live. Okay, we are live, which is great.
Yeah, we are.
See you, Bridgerton. What's up? He said, let's get the show on the road. How about them Chargers? Your Chargers, man, they're looking nice. And to anybody out there who has a lot of Michael Penix, like me, it's been a rough couple weeks for Kirk Cousins. 6 interceptions, no touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. At what point? At what point do they give Michael Penix a chance? I don't know. I mean, if they lose 2 more games, I don't know. Are they gonna go from clear division leaders to, I don't know, 6-8? Do they think of switching up? I don't know, but I'm excited to have a lot of Michael Penix, regardless of if that's this year, next year, or the year after. I appreciate y'all for being here with us. Do us a favor again, smash that like button as today's stream begins. What's up, JW? Says you guys are leading the game. Very, very kind of you.
Appreciate you, brother.
But yeah, we will be doing some team reviews today. All right, so we've got 3 people currently lined up. If you want to get your team review, you can obviously do that as well. And we'll tell you exactly how to do that here now. So there's a couple ways that you can get your Dynasty playbook. All right. The first option is with the link that is in the pinned comments. All right. I'll put it in the chat again. The second option is by becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND, LAND. All right. So you got 2 different options there. You can buy one a la carte, or you can become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. Either way, you will get a playbook, Dynasty playbook here for you. Obviously, we'll tell you, what your pathway is, your untouchable names, your holds, your drops. We'll give you very specific trade targets. The chalkboard is typically chocked full of ideas, both for rookie draft picks and for trade ideas out there, the positional priorities in your league, so you know how to build. Everything you need and more to execute the best game plan for your Dynasty team is available in the Dynasty playbook. We released this, I think, 3 weeks ago now, and we've had incredible response. Really, it's been fun to hear you guys, your guys' support and your love of this product. So we appreciate y'all big time. Again, do us a favor, hit that like button to show some love. But when you do go to the website, I'll show you exactly, how this will work for you if my tabs want to catch up. My tabs are not working. Here we go. So you got that. If you're going to buy one a la carte, you hit team review. Hopefully you've already linked your team up. But let's say I wanted to review the Alpha Dynasty team. You go through, right? You choose your team. That's my team. Make sure all your rookie draft picks are correct. If not, add some. Hit continue. And then you'll see the land guys here, a team playbook. All right, so the team playbook is the offline version. And just for $10 more, you will get a live team playbook. All right, so if you want us to review your team on a live stream and get the playbook in 48 hours after we review your team, then it's just that little extra to get that. But $79 here for your team playbook. That's if you're not a member. If you're a member, there's a discount on that price. Yeah, we've had great feedback from everyone. We appreciate you guys. And the first team that we're going to review today, what's up, Linux? Welcome in, my man. Appreciate you for being here. First team we're going to look at today is Cool Hand Luke. And if Cool Hand Luke is in the chat, let us know. I know a lot of people are watching these after the fact for now, but Cool Hand Luke here says, first off, thank you for buying a Dynasty playbook. We're excited to review your team. And he bought it during that special, during Black Friday, so his is going to be live regardless. But I'm going to go ahead and create a new chalkboard for him if you want to talk through his context and everything.
Yeah, we'll have a look at it at his team. So it's a 2 quarterback, 10 team start 10. It's non-PPR, so this is a standard league.
Interesting.
And hopefully that is correct here. It says the third from the GOAT will convert to a 25 fifth or the 2025 second if Russell Wilson starts at least 8 games in 2024. Right. Okay.
He started quite a few already. I feel like that might be there now. No.
Well, I don't think it's 8 games as of yet.
Okay.
I think he's only started. I mean, has it been 8 weeks already since he started?
It's getting close.
Russell Wilson? Yeah, it's definitely getting close, which is most likely. I would kind of bank on that's going to happen. I'll pull that up right now.
Yeah.
So far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if there's no injuries, he has until week 15 to start, and then once week 15 hits, that third is going to be a 2025 second round pick here. So
okay, cool.
That should be good and interesting. So
yeah, so you will definitely get a second then. That's definitely gonna happen. What's up, Kev? Yeah. Welcome in, my man. Bo Bandy says, whoops, guess I should have changed my profile name and my real name. Is this your team? Bo Bandy, let us know. You know I love me some Lad the Space Creator, Brizzleton. You know I love that. But yeah, if you're here with us, Cool Hand Luke, let us know. But like Badaki said, a Dynasty Superflex 10-team start 10. So if you're in a 10-team start 10 in Superflex, you're looking at either 3 flex spots or 3 starting wide receivers. So either way, you can start up to 5 wide receivers. And you've got that middle ground type of format with your team. Again, start 7 or start 10, 10-team Superflex. So middle ground, that's kind of like standard, run-of-the-mill type of starting lineup, which is good to see. Currently, Purdy Good is his name, and he is ranked 4th out of 10 teams, according to my rankings, if you put my Dynasty rankings amongst your league. And there is one Thanos. His name is Nico Nolans, and he has Allen, Murray, McCarthy, Baker, Stafford, Taylor, Monty, Brown, Pollard. He's got Nico, Garrett, Olave, Higgins, Pickens, Smith, Adunze, Kincaid, Otten. By the way, I recently moved Nico Collins into my top 3 of my Dynasty rankings, right ahead of CeeDee Lamb, which is it sounds insane to say. Oh boy, I have done that.
Oh boy.
But anyway, you are currently 4th, so you're kind of in this middle pack of like the tier 2 teams right now, and you are 10-2, so you're definitely going to get into the playoffs. We didn't have any specific context on, if he had any goal in mind, but we'll just review the team and give any opinions. So, Drake May, Brock Purdy, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, Kirk Cousins. That's a pretty damn good quarterback room. I mean, look, in a 10 team, everyone's going to have a good quarterback room probably, but that's a pretty good one. I mean, you got Purdy, May, and Richardson, who are all startable names. You can start Kirk Cousins when Kirk Cousins fall off. So you have Michael Penix, Bryce Young. I mean, Bryce Young
playing up right now. Talk it up.
We weren't wrong. We were just early on Bryce Young. No, I mean, it's too early to say anything about that. Great running back room with names like Ken Walker and Kyron Williams and James Cook, Alvin Kamara, Jefferson, Rashee Rice. Your team would have been even better if Rice didn't go down. Brian Thomas, Khalil Shakir, Devontae Adams, McMillan, Leggett, Deontay. You've got a pretty solid squad. And then Travis Kelce at tight end. Again, non-PPR. So running backs, to me, matter more than wide receivers in that format. This is a pretty good team, man. I don't see any draft picks.
Yeah, I don't see any draft picks either. I wonder if that's a glitch on our end, or maybe you didn't input the draft picks, but that's no draft picks on any of these teams. So I wonder if that is something that we can hopefully figure out. Maybe we can message him, or maybe the devs, to try and get that draft pick to kind of give you that draft grade, because that's a big part of the Dynasty playbook here. But overall, like Zach was saying, the team is great. A good team. You're 10-2 right now, if I'm not mistaken. You are tied for 1st, and it's not even with the guy that's Thanos, which is great. So the Thanos guy is probably struggling, has been going through some motions here, maybe with some injuries or some players that haven't been playing up to standard throughout the year. Obviously, he was missing Nico Collins. He has no Chris Olave. He had no T. Higgins. He didn't have George Pickens for the first half of the season, essentially, now that with Russell Wilson's here. So he was definitely struggling with a bunch of injuries here. He has Dalton Kincaid, who also struggles, or not struggled, struggling. We had lower expectations for what he was going to produce, but like overall,
Dynasty right now, and even that kind of feels a little too high.
So I mean, overall, your team is definitely good. You have depth as well. And this is a non-PPR league, so you have guys that are scoring touchdowns. You know, Kyron Williams scores touchdowns. James Cook is scoring touchdowns. Alvin Kamara scoring touchdowns. Rasheed Rice at the time, obviously Justin Jefferson. So all these guys are getting points and getting yards, even if it's non-PPR.
Yeah.
So I think this is a great team here.
Yeah, I would. I'd give this like A- territory myself. How about you?
Yeah. I like
young
it. I like
across the
A-.
board. You've got veterans who are really good and young players to kind of take over for them once they're done. I wish we had information on draft capital right now. But what I will say is it looks like you're ranked 10th. So if that's any indication of your draft capital, it means you're probably not burning the world down with your draft capital. You're last. You're ranked last. So
Yeah.
I
Only
imagine
thing we do know is that you're gonna have a 25-second. So
yeah, I imagine you're very much a win now team. And to me, this is like thinking about pathway for a team like this. I don't know how you feel, Badaki, but this to me feels like windows open. Actually, this feels like just contender.
I would say
contender.
contender. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm happy with Windows Open or contender because he still has youth at the running back position. Technically, he has youth at the wide receiver position.
We should make a graphic for those 6 pathways, by the way, and keep them on the screen when we do team reviews. But yeah, I agree with you. Sorry, go ahead. I agree. Contender.
No, I was just saying, like, there's definitely pathways for this, especially at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
I think you're in that mix where you have youthful guys that are producing right now, which is really helpful, which is why I can understand why you wanted to go Windows Open, but these guys are already producing,
Yeah, names like Alvin Kamara and Keenan Allen and Travis Kelce made me want to go Windows Open. I think he's like a Windows Open contender hybrid, honestly. Yeah. I feel like if we can go contender / Windows Open when we send him the playbook, I think that might be like the ideal route for this guy. But hey guys, if you're watching, do us a favor, hit that like button to show some love. We are giving people their Dynasty playbooks today. And yeah, I think every move you make is just about how do I put myself in the best position to compete in the playoffs, which is very soon. But that to me is everything for this team. As far as your positional priorities in this league, again, a super flex start 10. Quarterback's going to be the most important, then wide receiver, running back, and tight end. But I would honestly switch that up, Badaki. I will put running back ahead of wide receiver, so running back at 2. And the reason I would say that is because there is no PPR in this league. In a non-PPR league, I do think I'd rather have my flex full of running backs than wide receivers. So again, in order, I'd say quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end are the positional priorities in order. But shall we go to the whiteboard? I mean, it's going to be tough because again, we don't know what kind of draft capital he has. But
yeah, we don't know the draft capital. But yeah, we can go to the draft board. We can
let's
talk
go
about untouchables and holds and stuff.
Jefferson, obviously untouchable.
Yeah.
Drake May, I would put in that category as an untouchable. Outside of that, I feel like it would be Rasheed Rice. As crazy as that sounds, I'm very bullish on him. I wouldn't trade him right now.
We can put him as a hold, maybe.
Yeah, Rasheed Rice is a good hold. That's fair. I would also say Brian Thomas is a strong hold right now. Michael Penix is a strong hold. As far as drops, I think you could drop John Mechie pretty easily. I'd be comfortable dropping Brandon Allen at this point. Taysom
John
Hill,
Mitchell, Brandon Allen.
at this point, a season-ending ACL injury. I mean, if there's anyone at all interesting on your waiver wire, I think you could pick them up over Taysom Hill.
You probably picked him up.
Is he 35 or something? I don't remember.
And the last guy I would say here would probably be Dameon Pierce. That you can drop.
I might hold him just in case Mixon goes down, but you can drop him if there's anything interesting on the waiver wire. Otherwise, you hold him, I think.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, let's go to the whiteboard here. Again, how do we do the whiteboard without knowing the draft capital? That's going to be interesting.
Well, maybe we'll act as if there's no draft capital. Let's just
Yeah,
act like
he is. He is
he
ranked
only has a
10th.
25 second. He
Okay.
only has a 25 second. He's ranked 10th, meaning that maybe there's no draft capital, or he just has a third, and we just use the pieces. And if there is some more information, if you are watching this, Cool Hand Luke, then or watching this later, send us a message maybe on Discord, and then maybe
No,
we
do
can
it through the
update that
flock
with
site
the
because you're gonna send him that there
Sure,
anyway.
message us through the flock site as well.
And then
That's good.
what we can do is we can change your playbook offline if we come up with better ideas when we get your draft capital information. But I think Kirk Cousins is definitely a tradable name. You know, I know we want to win right now, but we actually don't need him.
No.
So yeah, I would say Kirk Cousins makes a lot of sense to move at this point. Man, I'm not sure we need Brock Purdy, but I'd like to hold him. I mean, right now, Drake, May, Richardson, Young, Cousins. I think you move one of Purdy or Kirk.
Okay.
I think one of those two names you move. Let's see.
That's actually true, but we need his league ID. That's
Yeah,
the
do we
problem.
have his league ID?
No, someone did say we could check Keep Trade Cut, but we don't have his league ID, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Is there
I think we
ways-
might actually in the my review section. But Aki, let me see. Cool Hand Luke. We do have his league ID. It's a great idea. I think Dynasty
pretty
Daddy
sure I heard
actually
of that.
has it as well. So let's go ahead and do league ID here.
Yeah, let's see what he has.
This is actually a great idea.
Pretty good. League team.
Uh,
All right, power rankings.
are you on
So-
Keep Trade Cut?
Yeah, I'm on Keep Trade Cut. So on Keep Trade Cut here, I'm seeing that he has a 25 first, a 26 first. He has a 27 first. But why would he be 10th? On Keep Trade Cut,
Okay, well clearly it's just not up. Like our draft picks are still not. How do I say it? They're just not up to date. So sorry. He has. Okay, yeah. Let me copy this over then. All right.
well, according to this, he is last. Still, like he's 10th. If you look at draft picks only on Keep Trade Cut,
Okay, so that
he
makes
just
sense.
might have, like they just might have a lot of picks.
Yeah.
They
Well,
already
have
have
a
their
fifth
20
and a sixth round, which is insane.
Yeah,
All right.
they have a 5th and 6th round. They already have their 27 first, I guess, allocated to them. So, but according to Keep Trade Cut, he has a 25 first, which is not his. He has, well, I guess you can copy that. Actually, I don't know if you can see that. And we can go through this.
I was just gonna say my first idea is to package as many 5th and 6th round picks for 2nd or 3rds. I don't care if I lose every 5th and 6th round pick I have for 1 2nd round pick. It does not matter to me. It doesn't phase me whatsoever. These don't matter at all. They have no input, no impact on your team. These are guys who are on practice squads in the NFL, even in a 10-man league. It just does not matter. So I'll package all of them for 1 2nd round pick. I'll package all of them for 2 3rds. Whatever it takes, if that's possible. That's my first idea. But wow, these names are funny. But we have a first in 2025. We have a first in 2026. A first in 2027. Like we said, the 2nd round picks we have, and then who is? Does it say that on our site as well? Who owns that pick?
Which
Okay,
pick?
yes, it does say that on our site as well. So the guy, the fish
sure what
guy,
you're talking
all right,
about.
is 5-7, and his team is pretty average. So
Right,
that's going to
okay.
be a pretty good draft pick there. Can we add that pick as a hold?
Yeah, sure.
Can we add that pick as a hold with this?
this pick as a whole?
Yeah.
Sure. Give me a sec. I can add that.
All right, cool. This is gonna be helpful for us. I would grade his draft capital at like a B-. It's not bad. I thought it'd be way worse than this.
I thought it'd be worse, but he's ranked 10th. But once again, if you look at Keep Trade Cut, everyone has crazy draft capital right now. So you said B minus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're on the same page, which is great. So yeah, great draft capital. Looking at this right now, then we can kind of go through what we would do and utilize here with these picks, which
All
would
right.
be
Well,
helpful.
first things first. I don't think you need to address tight end right now with Kelsey, given your team. I'm not 100% sure you have to address wide receiver. Your ideal starting lineup right now is probably
Exactly.
Drake May, Purdy or Richardson at this moment, or Cousins. That's two.
Super flex.
Then Kenneth Walker, Kyron Williams. Then at wide receiver, Jefferson, Thomas or Jefferson Adams or Jefferson Keenan. You have enough there.
Yeah.
And then
you start
after that, you
James
have
and Alvin.
Kelsey. And then you're
true,
right. You start
Kelsey.
James Cook. You start Alvin Kamara. And then at your last flex, you can put Shakir in there. You can put Keenan. You can put Adams, whoever you didn't start first. So I'm not really sure you actually need to make any moves, quite frankly. I feel like your team is already really solid going into the playoffs. We definitely don't need to address running back. We don't need to address tight end. I mean, the only thing I can really think about is if we were to use Kirk Cousins and Adams to try and go get a younger, more reliable wide receiver to send that to a competitor right now. So like a Cousins plus an Adams or a Cousins plus a Keenan, and we can even add some draft capital in here if we need to, depending on what player it is that we would get. But go out there and try and get a younger player that we can build around even after this year. So first we have to find a contender that is quarterback needy. So I'm going to sort by quarterbacks. This team is 6-6. They definitely need a quarterback. They've got Tua, and after that, nobody. They just lost CMC, but they still have B-Rob, Mixon, Connor. I think this could work out, but there's no wide receiver worth targeting. That's the problem here.
Who is this team? Sorry.
This is just day 2 of us. But what you could do with this team is you could try and sneak your way into a first-round pick. So, for example, Cousins and a second for a 2025 or for any first-rounder. This is from just the 2 of us, or however you say his name. Right? I think that could work. If he still sees a window open with Tua and Kirk Cousins, then that's fine. I mean, Lazan Al-Khalib probably isn't totally opposed to adding a quarterback 3. I know he has Jameis Winston, but it's worth asking the question. I mean, I wouldn't even mind sending him Kirk Cousins and trying to target a Brandon Ayuk for next year. Because with the amount of depth we have on this team, we can also think towards future years. We don't really have to think just this year. You're already set this year. But if we were to send him, let's say, again, Cousins and a second for Ayuk, I don't even think you'd have to include a second based off what I've seen. But try Cousins and a third for Ayuk. If that doesn't work, Cousins and a second for Ayuk. I would try that personally.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm gonna see what he's valued at right now. QB 17. Okay.
How about the guy with CJ Stroud? He's been a massive disappointment this year. Can you find your way into a JSN? This is perfect. All right. So, like we said, Cousins, and let's give him Keenan Allen. All right, and we're gonna give him a second for JSN as a starter. I don't know if that's possible, but as a starting option, I would send that over to him. He's 7-5. I'm sure he feels shaky about his quarterback 2 spot heading into the playoffs. The number 1 team doesn't need your help at all. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people get into the playoffs right now? Because 1, 2, 3, 4. If 6 people get into the playoffs, then this fish guy is going to get into the playoffs. So another name that you could consider here, how about a Cousins for Waddle type of deal? Cousins plus a third for Jalen Waddle, and we'll buy him on the low, just as another example.
Sure. In a win now scenario,
just as like a buy low on that receiver for next year, you know, because we don't really need him per se.
Sure. I'm just looking through some other names. Yeah, so definitely Rashee Rice is definitely one that we would target on a buy low. I'm trying to think of other names that we could potentially get on the low. Other names that we have spoken about was Brandon Ayuk. I don't know if we've spoken about Chris Godwin, Jacoby Myers. These are going to be a little bit cheaper potentially, and maybe a little bit older guys. Obviously, Chris Godwin was in 29.
I would say Chris Olave as a buy low. I think he's a perfect buy low for this guy. Who has Olave? Let's see. It's the Thanos team, which is not ideal. He doesn't need to move Chris Olave. He has no incentive to move Chris Olave, unfortunately. How about Rome Odunze? Odunze is a pretty good buy low right now, in my opinion. And he is also on the Thanos. He don't worry, guys. He's only Thanos's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide receiver 7. He's only his wide receiver 7, so it's okay. I wouldn't even like. Do you like a Michael Pittman buy low?
I thought about that. It just depends on how much you believe in Anthony Richardson, and that's where I was gonna go, because I was gonna be on the point of like, if the way Anthony Richardson has been playing, people have been liking it a little bit. Not saying he's been worlds better, but if he does get back to the threshold where he was a top 12 quarterback, I'll be interested in selling him again. But he's QB 17 on keep trade cut, so
how about just a Cousins Pittman straight swap?
If you could do Cousins Pittman, sure, but I don't know if I'm going to give up a lot for Pittman.
Sure. Man, I think these are the main ideas I have, to be honest. I feel like really I just see an excess at quarterback, and I think you can move around your quarterbacks. But I'm not sure there's like another move. Like, I don't want to sell these running backs. You could sell Kamara, but why? You're competing. There's no reason to sell him.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to sell Deontay Johnson right now. These guys aren't really worth much. Devontae Adams is a tough sell. Yeah, I don't see like a clear sell here.
That's definitely one. Maybe that is the clear sell on the team is Devontae Adams. Let's get whatever we can for him. He's a 30-plus-year-old wide receiver. Question marks on Aaron Rodgers and where he's going to go next year. Does Devontae Adams just go to a contender next year? What if he does the DeAndre Hopkins and goes to the Chiefs, or he goes to...
Would you do Adams for Godwin straight up?
I would. Yeah,
okay.
100% I would do that. You know, what if Devontae Adams goes to the Ravens because they need a wide receiver next year? You know, like, I don't think you're going to want Devontae Adams, so let's just try and get him off our team sooner rather than later, especially to a win-now team that could use him. I mean, he scored 17 points this last week, if I'm not mistaken, or just about that. If I could do Adams for like any second, I would. If I do Adams for Chris Godwin, I would do Adams. I mean, I would even go lower, to be completely honest with you. I think of names like Michael Pittman, Josh Downs. I'm interested in Keon Coleman. I would do the swap for. Those are some names that I would personally be looking into. I like the idea of the Xavier. You know, I can go more like Xavier Legette. I don't know how you feel about that. Calvin Ridley. I would try Calvin Ridley.
I would try Jameson Williams. I don't think you get Calvin Ridley anymore. Probably not
Jameson Williams. Either, so like, that's kind of where I would try to do, and for more win now. I guess get him off your team essentially.
All right, my favorite trades here is sending the Cousins and a second for a first. I also love Cousins and a second for Ayuk, if that is a possibility. I like the idea of JSN. Was there one that you wanted to highlight before we move on?
Yeah, I think I'm happy to do the Devontae Adams for any of those names.
Okay.
See if we fit that in.
Okay.
That's good. There's the top 4 there.
All right.
But yeah.
Those are the main moves that I can think. I mean, at some point, you know, you might be doing trades to do trades. So I wouldn't go too crazy with this team. You're already in a great position. You already have really good draft capital. Hold on to that first round pick. If you want to move it, you can just move it in April, not in December.
One thing I will say, because I'm not a big Anthony Richardson guy, and let's just say he finishes this season averaging, you know, 14 to 18 points, and people are like, I'm liking the way that this team is moving on. Can I package Anthony Richardson with the second, or hell, even a first, and I'll go out and get a Jordan Love, a Justin Herbert?
I
Would
wouldn't do
somebody
that
want
if I
to?
had to attach a first, personally. I think that's
Sure.
too much.
That's what I personally would do because I'm not a big believer in Anthony Richardson. But I don't know if you can do like straight swaps right now for like a Bo Nix, um, or a Drake May, which I think you already have. But those are some names, some things I would be looking for in the future when you are looking at Anthony Richardson. But if he doesn't, you know, finish the way I'm kind of talking about right now, then just hold him.
Yeah.
Hold him and sell and keep him.
All right, well, we appreciate you, Cool Hand Luke. I'm glad we were able to look at your draft capital. Honestly, with his draft capital, what grade did I give him? Was it an A minus?
Yeah, we gave him A minus.
I think this is an A. I think this is an A, a solid A team. I wouldn't even put the minus on there. It's a straight A for me. Yeah, this is a solid team. I mean, you have youth, you have veterans, you have draft capital, you have an excess of quarterbacks in the Superflex League. You're absolutely set, man. But again, just so you guys know, and more specifically towards you, Cool Hand Luke, your Dynasty playbook will be sent in the Flock Fantasy message tab where you did your review. It'll be sent there within 48 hours. So you get your playbook within 48 hours on the message tab. You know, just keep refreshing, you know, every day, and we'll send it over your way. And yeah, soon we're going to build out a notification system on the Flock site. So when we send you guys messages, you get notifications about it. But yeah, that's what we need to do for now.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Andy Norton is the next team we're going to review.
I think he changed his name. I think that is Bo Bandy that's in the chat. He said, whoops, I guess I should have changed my profile name for my real name. Which, yes, if you refresh, I'm pretty sure it's Bo Bandy.
Oh, now it says... Oh yeah, Bo Bandy. No. You're right. Yeah.
Bo Bandy. That's him. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I think he is here with us in the chat, or at least maybe he was here with us. We'll wait and see.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and read that, and I'll create a
chalkboard. The context. Yeah. So this is a 1 quarterback 10 team start 11. This is also non PPR. And if you are here with us in the chat, let us know if this is a standard league. If it is, that does change a lot.
Let us know. Yeah. Let us know if it is PPR, because if it's not, that's going to change stuff, like Badaki said, but I don't know if that's a glitch or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a glitch or not either. He says, I also have my...
It's PPR, he says.
It's PPR.
Okay, well, what is going on, man?
Says, I also have my
20... very difficult to do reviews.
Says, I also have my 26 second, my 2027 first, second, and third. My favorite target is Rasheed Rice, but the owner won't sell. I would like to sell Burrow or Stroud, but can't seem to find the proper trade in this league. Any advice would be much appreciated. Thanks. All right. We appreciate you, brother. And this is, once again, a 1 quarterback, 10 team start 11. I know you said you're kind of busy. You already confirmed his PPR. Just confirm the starting lineup for us in a second when Zach puts that in the chat. Because we just want to make sure that we're giving you the best advice with the correct information at all times. All right. So we appreciate you. It says it's super flex.
It's super flex. Okay.
Okay. So that means it would be a... This is start 11. So you'd be rolling deep, essentially. 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 flex. But once again, like Zach is gonna put that in the chat just before. We're just gonna message our devs to see if they can fix anything. But I have a look at your team here. Willie Willies. Start 11. Okay, awesome.
All right, looking at this, it is a start 11 super flex league. Is that right?
Yeah, start 11 super flex league. So this is rolling deep.
Yeah, like Badaki said, rolling deep. Sorry, I just want to make sure I get on the same page. All right, go ahead.
So you are ranked 2nd in this league here, and it looks pretty well even at the top. So let's look at this team. Superflex, Joe Burrow, Drake May, CJ Stroud, Michael Penix. I mean, this is a great quarterback room. Literally the best quarterback room in this league. So this is great. At the running back position, oh, you got nobody, brother. Ray Davis, who had a couple games, Manny Wilson, Tyler Bidet. This is interesting. This is definitely your downfall, but trying to look for maybe some 2025 first. And you don't have your picks here either, so maybe the picks are also glitched.
Yeah, they are. That's just getting really frustrating. I'm gonna figure it out first. Don't worry.
Wide receivers: Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, Jalen Waddle, Tank Dell, Jordan Addison, Keon Coleman, Xavier Worthy, and the list really just goes on there with Dalton Kincaid, Ben Sinnott, Theo Johnson at the tight end position here. So once again, this is a rolling deep, meaning that depth is key. Start 11, meaning you can start up to 5 wide receivers. So that is pretty big.
So
actually, this is middle ground. Actually, this is not rolling deep. This is middle ground.
A start 11 is not middle ground.
No, you're right. You're right. But he has 3 flex. It says 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 3 flex. See how he wrote it? Maybe I'm reading.
Well, if that's the case, Bandy, this should be a start 10 then, no? Because if you got 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 3 flex, that's start 10, not 11.
Yeah, that's
so
why.
So,
Bandy,
can you clarify for us? Because that will impact the way that we review your team. But anyway, I was gonna say, how is he 1-23? Because his quarterback room looks so good, but then I saw the running back room and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's not great at all.
Yeah, the Rashee Rice owner won't sell. That's unfortunate. But his name is Wooly Willith, I think, and in draft capital.
Once again, we don't know.
He has his first. He has Ali Narm's first. He has Peanut Andy's first. He has Pookie Nakua's first. This is all in 2025. He has no first in 2026. Okay, so it's a 3 wide receiver, so it is a start 11. Yeah, it's a rolling deep league. But okay, yeah, so he has 1, 2, 3, 4 first round picks in 2025. 4 first round picks in 2025. And they're from Ali Narms is the first one. And Ali Narms is 16-8, so they'll be in the playoffs. The other one is from Peanut on Andy. They are 8-16, so they will not be in the playoffs. It's a very valuable pick. He's got Pookie Nakua. And Pookie Nakua is 15-9, so they'll be in the playoffs. So he's got 2 picks. 1 is owned that are going to be very good. 2 that will be late firsts. So he's got a lot of draft capital to kind of play around with. And to be honest, your weaknesses are exactly what will complement this upcoming class.
Exactly, so, which is going to be great for you.
You're in a very good position, I would say, with this rebuild. Honestly, I don't think you have to sell one of these quarterbacks. The time to sell CJ Stroud would have been before the year when I was screaming to sell him then. I don't think you can sell him now. We need to see a rebound before you can sell him. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think all these guys are worth keeping, personally. I mean, my thing is, well, maybe you don't sell Michael Penix now until he actually starts, because you're probably never going to start him.
The only quarterback that you could sell at a reasonable price right now is Joe Burrow. Everybody else, I think you either want to hold or they, and I don't really want to sell Joe Burrow. I feel like you're a 1-year punt if we haven't gone through, and talked about this, but this is a 1-year punt in my opinion, right? I mean, we have 4 draft picks. We have no first round in 2026. So it feels like let's load up in 2025 and let's go win this thing. At least that's how I'm viewing it right now.
Yeah, I agree. 1-year punt. Because you're not competing now, which is not a contender. Even you're not windows open. So I agree. You're a 1-year punt.
So let's just play around with these draft picks a little bit, right? And I'll pull them over from KTC so we have them. Let's grade this draft capital first. I mean, I honestly don't love that you don't have your 26 first. I'm really curious what you turn that into, but because it does put us on this timeline where 2026, it makes no sense for us to not try and compete then. But with that being said, I'd say this is like a solid, what, A minus?
A minus team?
No, draft capital.
Draft capital? I didn't see it. It's up here.
I'd say it's a solid A minus.
Or first. Yeah, this is great. Sorry, I wasn't able to look at it because I know you were going through that stuff. So yeah, like give it A minus. I think that's great.
And then as far as his team overall, including the draft capital, I mean, unfortunately at wide receiver, you're not as strong as you'd want to be, but you have a bunch of guys who should bounce back. Tight end is not a strength of what you wanted it to be for sure. But yeah, I'd probably rate your team overall I'd say like a B.
Yeah, I was gonna give it a B minus because this is a start 11. You have Marvin Harrison, Rome Dunze, Waddle as your starting guys, and the rest are guys that you hope for, right? We hoped for Tank Dell, we hoped for Jordan Addison, we hoped for Keon Coleman, Xavier Worthy. You have the draft capital to turn that around, hopefully. But once again, it's not a crazy class.
He turned his 26 first into a 25 102, which could pan out. A lot of people are going to tell you that's locked and loaded into Tet McMillan. I don't know how I feel about that at this moment. I think I'm still scouting the wide receivers, but he wouldn't be on his own as a 102 for me. And I know that's going to be contradictory to everything you're hearing. I think he's certainly an option at the 102. But I wouldn't sit here and say, like, no, you have to stay at the 102 and take Tet. And, as we get closer and more, into Dynasty season and into the Dynasty rookie draft season, we will be able to give you better advice on that. But right now, I would just say, like, don't be so stuck on, like, just it has to be Tet McMillan. That's it. That's my only option. Because I don't think that's how I feel right now as I'm scouting this class. I think there's a tier of 3 wide receivers that could be wide receiver 1 this year, and I've not heard anyone say that. I feel like I'm going crazy, but that's how I feel. All right, and it kind of brings me back to last year when I was saying Marvin Harrison and Malik Neighbors were in the same tier, and everyone was upset about that. You know what I mean? So I think I might be early on it, or maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know, but we know he has a 101. We know he has a 102. At the 101, I would definitely be taking Ashton Genty. At this point, I can't give you great advice on the 102, but I would say your options are, the Tets. Sure, Tets an option. I think Burden is an option. I think Omarion Hampton is an option. I think Caleb Johnson is an option. And if we were to get clarification on Travis Hunter, if he was to commit to wide receiver, I think he'd be an option here. But I don't think Tet is like the only option at the 102, which is what it seems to be right now.
My next thing would be because I haven't scouted the wide receivers as of yet. My big thing is if we are second guessing the wide receivers and we can send that 102 for someone that we believe in that might be injured, does this feel like an overpay? Like, should we send that 102 for Rashee Rice right now, knowing this class?
Not right now. If you wanted to do that move, I think you do it in April when it has its most value, right?
When it has its most value. So that's probably one thing that I would then recommend is like wait for it, use the 102, because people are gonna be like, I'll take the 102. That's gonna be the wide receiver 1 on the team, et cetera, et cetera.
Or I would even
Rashee Rice for coming off a ACL tear.
If you guys know this channel well, you'll know last year what did I do consistently if I had the 101 or the 102. I didn't have any draft pick where when the draft was over, I actually had the 101 or the 102. And I had multiple drafts with those picks. Every time I had those picks, I moved back. From the 101, I went to the 103. I took Jaden Daniels and got a big extra on top of that. From the 102, I moved back to the 104. And instead of taking Marvin Harrison, I got Malik Neighbors and a bunch of draft capital. I think this is another draft where outside of the 101, I'm comfortable to do that. Ashton Genty's a clear 101 to me, but at the 102, there's this huge tier. I have no problem. He says he has the 103 or the 104, but if you can turn the 102 into the 105 in a first in 2026, let's do that. Right? It's another draft like that for me beyond the 101. But Yeah, I mean, these are all your options, I think, as of right now. And look, I haven't scouted the quarterback class just yet, so there could be a Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. In my opinion, those guys both hold the ball way too long, but they're talented names. But yeah, I think let's say you get a combination. Let's say you do go Tet. Okay, fine. We go Tet, then we go Amarion Hampton, and then we go Luther Burden. I don't know. I don't know exactly how you're going to do it, but you end up with two running backs and two wide receivers. I think that would be great for your team because all of a sudden now you have a starting lineup with Burrow, May, or Stroud. Outside of that, you would also have Ashton Genty and Amarion Hampton or Caleb Johnson. You would also have Marvin Harrison, Tet McMillan, Adunze as an option. Then you've got like Kincaid or, if Sinnett ever becomes a starter in Washington, you can flex names like Waddle and Dell or Burden, Addison. So that's automatically going to make your team a lot better looking into 2025. But yeah, like I said, I would encourage people, if you're watching this, don't be so like locked into Tet McMillan as the 102. He certainly could finish as the 102 after draft capital and after we've all gone through this class really in depth. But I don't think it's a lock like everyone's telling you right now.
Yeah.
But as far as like using these picks to acquire, I'm not sure it makes much sense considering we want to, you know what I mean? We want to kind of do a one-year punt. Like, we're not going to sell Marvin Harrison in this build. We're not going to sell Rome Odunze. We're not going to sell Waddle at this price. We're not going to sell Tank Dell at this price or name a wide receiver on your team. They're undervalued right now. So you can't sell Dalton.
Yeah, you can't sell anyone outside the quarterbacks. And I think, in my perspective, I don't want to sell these quarterbacks right now just to get a better player, because you're selling the guy that you could sell in CJ Stroud at his lowest point. So I think Zach is right.
CJ Stroud's a quarterback 6 right now on keep trade cut. I wish we sold him when he was quarterback 3 or quarterback 1, whenever that was, because that's when I was selling him. But I mean, if he is a tier 4 name and you got Jared Goff all the way down here at tier 12, I mean, could we tier down to a veteran? Could we tier down to a Dak Prescott and get something in return? Can we tier down, to a Trevor Lawrence and get something in return? I think those are some ideas. A Tua, a McCarthy. So if we are going to sell CJ Stroud, then we have to do it as a tier down, right? And we'll look at options here. But I think your untouchable names right now, Drake May, Marvin Harrison. I think those are your main 2. I would say your holds are going to be names like Michael Penix, Rome Odunze. I'd say Jalen Waddle to an extent as well. You can drop Tyler Bidet. I think you can drop Dylan Labe if you need to. I mean, if he was going to be something, he's had every opportunity. He would have been something by now, in my opinion. I think you can drop Bub Means at this point if you need to. I think you can drop Darnell Washington if you want to. Outside of that, I think you're okay. But, all right, so if we are to tier down from CJ Stroud, we need to find someone who's competing right now. Does the Dak Prescott owner, is he competing right now? Because that would be perfect. Who owns Dak? It's Shit Kickers, and they are 14-10, and Brock Purdy is dealing with an injury. This might be perfect. So we send them CJ Stroud. We want Dak Prescott. How about Dak and Ayuk? Is that not enough?
Yeah. It doesn't feel like enough.
Okay, so let's go Dak and Ayuk, and we'll try and slip in like a first and second round swap in any year. I'm not sure that's possible, but I'll say if that isn't possible, do the third and the second swap as well. You could try. You're frozen or you're about to sneeze? But
I am frozen. One thing I would say is when it comes down to Dak, I guess I'm just not in love with it. I think I don't like going too far down. So the middle tiers that I kind of see, and I'll let you finish with the Dak ones. Like I'm really liking the Baker Mayfields. I'm really liking, the Kyler Murrays. That's technically a tier down.
I
I like
love
the
that,
Drake.
but if someone's competing and they have Baker Mayfield, are they going to pay up
Sure,
to do this move? I don't think so.
sure. I guess it depends on the team. I agree.
Yeah.
But that's what those are the names that I would do. I feel like getting Dak it has to be Dak Ayuk in a first.
Okay.
If it's anything lower than that, I'm not in love with it. But yeah, those are some names I would actually be. I would do Bo Nix. Can I get Bo Nix in something else right now? Once again, you're probably getting him at his premium.
Anymore.
But people also like CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is a top tier name right now, and I think they would rather have him. People still don't believe in Bo Nix as of right now, and he's a top 8 quarterback over CJ Stroud. But
right
once
now,
again,
the Bo
just
Nix
giving
owner
you,
is
giving you my
15 and
thoughts.
9. They have Goff, Richardson, Nix. I just don't think they would pay up to make that move.
I can understand it, but I'm just giving him my thought process of
For sure.
the way I would try and go on and do it. But I do like the idea of if I can get all that Ayuk and the capital and Dak, sure, let's rock with it.
I don't mind the idea of a Trevor Lawrence. The guy's 8 and 16, so it's probably not going to happen. But for example, Trevor Lawrence and Chris Olave, I would do that for CJ Stroud. I think they're kind of the same player. I'm sorry, but CJ has better weapons. Man. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy, but CJ Stroud was the best sell high this offseason. I hope you guys are able to do it. I'm just thinking of other quarterbacks that we could pivot to. For example, JJ McCarthy.
That aren't competing.
Yeah,
sure.
Who has McCarthy right now? Okay, so JJ is currently on a team that is 16 and 8, and they have no clear quarterback too. This could be perfect. So can you get JJ and this is gonna be a little tougher. Would you do JJ and McBride and you send them because they have Njoku? How about JJ McBride? This could work. CJ Stroud for JJ and McBride, and we will send them. Well, yeah. We'll send them over Dalton Kincaid. CJ Stroud plus Kincaid for JJ McCarthy and McBride, and let's just say a second as well as a starting point. I like that a lot.
Sure.
Would we already have Michael Penix, right?
Yeah, we do have Michael Penix.
I think that's kind of where your options stop. If you actually are able to tier down, I think the other names are not tiered downable. Your Purdy's, Knicks, Williams, Bakers. I think that's where
I agree.
I think that's where your options kind of end.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough. It's tough to then continue to tier down.
He says I'm open to it, but the McBride owner's a big McBride guy. Hopefully he's a big CJ Stroud guy. I mean, send it, see what he says. Like if he counters and he wants a third back, I would do that as well. So let's just add that like as an option. If the guy's like, come on, meet me in the middle, and he's asking for something too much, you're like, okay, well, I will meet you in the middle. I'll give you a third. All right, I'll make it a pick swap.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I think that's how you can meet him in the middle. But look, I think that's really the only ideas that make sense for your team right now, honestly, because anything outside of that, we're just selling low on players. Every wide receiver that you own will be a sell low. So would Kincaid. So would Stroud, unless you can do one of those pivot downs that we talked about. So I think these are our only options, Bo Bandy. Sometimes, we want to give you as many options as possible, but we also don't want to just tell you to do something just to do it, to fill time. We want to be helpful, not just fill time here. So hopefully that is helpful.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Let us know if you have any other questions since
Yes.
you are here. But thank you so much for supporting us and getting a team playbook, and we'll get that to you within 24 to 48 hours with all that information, so you can have a physical copy. That's going to be sent to you via the Flock Fantasy message center, I guess you could say. So definitely stay tuned to that.
He says, all good. I like the ideas. I was thinking I should move Stroud for an RB if possible. It would have to be one of the top names in a super.
Yeah,
flex
it has
league.
to be one of the top 3 names.
Yeah, you'd have to get a Bijan Robinson.
I agree.
It'd have to be a Bijan. I really don't think there's another name I would do it for.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I wouldn't do it for Breece Hall.
No, Breece, Jameer splits, even though he's been great. Saquon, I think, is a bit older. I mean, in redraft, that would be great, but I don't know if there's anyone right now.
The only other option is if you do like a Gibbs and a first for Stroud and a second type move. Outside of that, I just think you should hold him. I mean, if he recovers right into his 3rd year and breaks out again, you will regret selling him, right now, unless you get one of these big packages. But yeah, I think those are our only other options there. But appreciate you big time, Bandy. Again, if you have any more questions, don't feel like you can't ask another question here. We appreciate you big time, man. I'm glad you're here with us as we review your team. The next team we're reviewing here is Ceedeez. And if you guys are watching this and you want your team reviewed, pretty simple process. There's two ways you can do that. You can either check out the pinned comment in the chat, which is a way to buy a team a la carte. The other option is if you want to become a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. All right, those are your 2 options. I just put that link in the chat. But both of those get you the Dynasty playbook, all right? And that playbook is sent to you 48 hours after we do it live, if you get the live version, right? Because there are 2 versions. One's offline. One is live. The live version is only like $10 more or something. And if you're a member, it's even cheaper. But anyway, just wanted to clarify that for you guys before we move on to the next team. And the next team is from Ceedeez, and I think they must have become a member because they have one of these free vouchers. When you become a member, it just shows up as a free voucher. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make a chalkboard for them, and you can read the context.
Yeah, as you do that. Appreciate you. He says, hey guys, I've enjoyed y'all's videos recently. I started Dynasty last off season. That's awesome. He says, I'm just looking for a team review and what I would need to do going forward so I don't fall behind the first year. I'm going into the playoffs as a 3rd seed at 10-4. Okay. And Ceedeez TDs is his team name. So you're saying you're 10-4, but it says 8-4 here. But that's all right. We'll have a look at this. And this is a 1 quarterback, 10 team start 8. And this is also non-PPR, it says. So maybe we should assume that it's PPR. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But we'll have a look at your team regardless of it. But yes, we appreciate you, CD, and just breaking this down here. 8-4.
I'm gonna assume this is PPR, considering they all have been, but yeah.
Yeah.
Is Thornbet in the chat with us, by the way? Yes, Troy is here. Okay, it is a standard. Okay, so this is the one time.
Okay.
Joe says something's up with my rankings. Okay, I don't. Interesting. Okay.
So it is 1 quarterback though. So it's 1 quarterback and a standard. Okay, so this is correct, which is great. So keep that in mind. So looking at this team, Joe Burrow, Bryce Young, Dak Prescott, Michael Penix, great quarterbacks, especially this year the way Joe Burrow has been playing. At the running back position, you have Saquon, Isaiah Pacheco, Joe Mixon, Tyrone Tracy. I mean, this is also great. Saquon, the RB1, Joe Mixon, the RB2. You have so far you have 3 top 5 players in those respective positions. At the wide receiver position, as this is a start, you can start up to 4 wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, Jaden Reed, and Cedric Tillman. So your wide receiver 4 is struggling just a little bit.
But at the flex spot, you can put a running back anyway, so you're not hurting, especially in a non-PPR.
Yeah, and then obviously you're getting T.J. Hawkinson. You got T.J. Hawkinson back, who you're probably starting over Dalton Kincaid. So overall, this is a great team. I think this is a really good team with opportunity here. Obviously, hasn't been the year for some of these players like the name of CeeDee Lamb. Obviously, Pacheco, you lost him early in the season. Tyrone came to his own, and Dalton Kincaid wasn't the guy either. At least coming into this year, he was a guy that I believed in. But you had T.J. Hawkinson come in and step up, which has been great here. So I'm liking this team. Meat and potatoes, we call it.
Yeah, meat and potatoes lineup. If we were to give this team a grade, by the way, I have their draft capital. They have their first in 25, 26, 27, as well as their seconds and their third. So they pretty much have their first, second, and third in each of the next 3 years, which is very easy to keep track of. But I mean, that's like a solid. That's just like your standard. I'd say like a B plus. I mean,
Yeah.
you haven't accumulated extra picks. You haven't gotten rid of them. So it's about as middle ground as it could be. You don't have anyone else's picks that were like, okay, they're a bad team or they're, a competing team. So there's a first or another, late second. I guess you do have the second from Hall Pass. Now that I'm looking at this a little bit more in depth, Hall Pass is 5 and 7. So yeah, I'd say like B plus territory for these picks. And then considering his entire team, I do think the wide receiver room is a little it falls off pretty quickly, but your running back room is definitely your strength. And in a non PPR, that's the way I would prefer it anyway. I'd give this a solid, I'd say B plus range. If not,
The overall team.
yeah, if not like A minus.
I think this is a B plus.
Okay, let's go B plus then.
Like I said, it does fall off, but when Cedric Tillman is coming up, but if not, you've been starting Tyrone Tracy, and now you have Isaiah Pacheco there. So if your trade deadline hasn't passed, which most likely has passed, maybe you can get a better flex here. That wide receiver 4 option if need be.
Okay, yeah. So do we talk through a starting lineup, like how we would have it? Because essentially it would be Burrow, then it would be Saquon, Mixon right now, then it would be Ceedeez, London, Hawkinson would be your starting tight end. That makes 6, and then you would probably flex Tracy and Reed or Tracy and Pacheco. But you've got pretty solid depth, considering how small the starting lineup is. What's up, Chief? Welcome in.
How you doing, brother?
So yeah, Troy, if you're here, by the way, feel free to drop in any comments as we go. This is your team. We want to make sure you get the best review possible. But okay, knowing we are an 8-4 team, knowing we have all of our future picks, knowing we have a chance to win, I mean, to me, this is just a contender pathway. Yeah. I mean, you are not completely reliant on veterans. And I don't think there's any desperate moves you have to make to compete. I think you're a contender right now. I do.
I completely agree.
As far as untouchables, I would not trade the CeeDee Lambs on your team. Given your format, I wouldn't trade Saquon Barkley. He would be an untouchable as well.
Especially in a non PPR.
Yeah, exactly.
And if he's going to be with the Eagles for the next 3 years, this is a guy that's going to be getting a lot of touches, not only on the ground, but also in the air. And he scores touchdowns, which is pretty huge for you. And he's probably going crazy in a standard league right now for you. He's going crazy in a PPR league. He's 100% killing it in a standard league right now. I would imagine he should be the RB1 in a standard league. Yeah, he is RB1. So this is great. It's great.
I would definitely say untouchable is Saquon Barkley in your format. I'd also add CeeDee Lamb in there. Do we normally put 2 up? Is that right?
Yeah, we normally put 2.
And beyond that, holds. I think this team is in a good position to hold a Tyrone Tracy and see what happens with him over the offseason. I would definitely hold TJ Hawkinson as well. As far as drops, there are no drops on this team, to be honest. Yeah, we might have to leave that empty. There's no drops on this team.
I mean, I guess for the long term, like, look, it's probably not a drop right now, but once the season ends, probably just drop Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
You know, like we can put that, but keep in mind as you're watching this, you're gonna drop him once the season ends because he's most likely going to be cut by the Chiefs. At least that's the expectation. Other than that, I would agree. There's no one else I am dropping on this team. You still want to keep the Adonais, the Pokes, even the Theo Johnsons, Michael Penix, and the Jalen Wrights there. So I think everyone else you can keep. So
yeah.
drop
By the
Kareem
way,
Hunt
when he
once
said
again
10-4, he put in the chat that that's what he's projecting. He's going to win this week, and next week he's facing a tanking team.
Okay.
So, yeah, you're going to be 10-4. You're going to have just as good of a chance as anybody to win this league once you get into the playoffs. I miss Cam Newton is one of the Thanoses of your league, but his wide receiver room, it's good. It's not, Patrick Mahomes isn't a world beater anymore, so he's a beatable name still, I think.
Well, he's 1-11, so I don't know how that works.
Oh yeah, he's not even in the playoffs. He must have insane amount of draft capital then. But other names that you're competing against, like Big Papa, they got Daniels, Kamara, Walker. Walker's been inconsistent. Dobbins went down with an injury. Right, T. Higgins, we never know if he's going to stay healthy. Tank Dell's been a disappointment. Point I'm making here is that you have a great chance to go out and win this thing. But yeah, all right. So let's go to the whiteboard here, and if there's any ideas that we can come up with, to me, again, it's all about, all right, how can I compete this year, but make sure I'm still competing next year. And I'm not sure I really want to hold Cedric Tillman long term, so he might be a name I'm willing to move. I would be willing to move Dak Prescott as well, considering it's a one quarterback league.
I agree with Dak.
I don't hate the idea of moving Dalton Kincaid either.
I guess for what,
Yeah, that's the problem. You might not have any obvious moves, to be honest.
Yeah. The thing is, I agree. Unless you sell him to, this is one quarterback too, so there's nobody that has terrible quarterbacks at the moment. Who's ranked 10th right now?
By the way, if C. Nicholson is in the chat, let us know. Are you open to doing your review next week on the stream, or do you want that this week? Either way, that's fine, but just let us know. Just with Monday Night Football getting started here soon, I don't want to rush your review. But, yeah, as far as moves to make, okay, so, again, we're a contender right now. We don't want to move Saquon or Pacheco or Mixon or Tracy. We don't want to move Burrow. We don't want to move Lamb, London Reed. We don't want to move Hawkinson. The only names that we could move here is Kincaid, Tillman, Adonai doesn't make sense to move, or Dak Prescott. So that's really the only moves that you can make. The other move is we can use our first from 2025 if we want to go in.
That's where I was gonna go. Let's use one of our draft capitals, because at the moment, like, we're not gonna be selling Tillman high. We're not gonna be selling Dalton high. Let's use our first to see where we can get, whether that's to compete now or even to compete later. But like, to compete now, obviously that's ideal. But if your trade deadline has gone, that's okay.
Let's find teams that are not competing, and let's see if there's anything worth giving them for a first. For example,
well, I'll go straight to I miss Cam.
Yeah. Man,
I don't
Bucky,
know. The first name I can see there. The first name I see there is George Pickens, but I don't even know if I want to do that yet.
Yeah, non-PPR.
I love what he's doing now. Yeah, exactly. I love what he's doing now, but I don't know if that's going to continue. Is Russ going to be there long term? Are they not going to sign Russ?
How about Trey McBride? We have Hawkinson. We don't need Trey McBride. Yeah. I don't hate the idea of going to get a Breece Hall from the 5-7 team. If we can send our 25 first for Breece Hall, I'm open to doing that. That just improves your flex, and it's a move that, again, helps you compete long term. So then your starting lineup could be Burrow, Saquon, Mixon, Lamb, London still, Hawkinson, but then at your flex spot, you can put a Breece Hall, you can put a Tyrone Tracy if you want, you can put a Pacheco, you can fill it full of running backs. You don't have to start Jane Reed if you don't want to trust him in a non-PPR format. So that's worth exploring. A team that's 4-8 has Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, do we want to turn Tyrone Tracy in that first into Jahmyr Gibbs?
Or we can definitely try that.
Although non-PPR. Yeah, I'm still open to that.
No, I'm still open for Gibbs and non-PPR. Yeah, non-PPR is interesting. Like, especially if you're a contender, my mind went straight to like Derrick Henry, but I don't want to pay a first for Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I'm not sure if someone's going to give you less. Who has Derrick
Henry?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Let's see.
That's where my mind went to.
Is with just Joshin at 6-6.
6-6.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you could do it for Kyron. That's a younger piece. It's still the same thing.
Yeah.
He's still
just
getting
your
touchdowns.
First straight up for Kyron.
Yeah, he's still getting touchdowns there. Unless when thinking of the future, Kyron's gonna help you win now. But if you're worried about Blake Corum,
I am a little worried about that. I'm a little hesitant about that.
He said trade deadline has passed, so aim for future.
Okay.
Yeah, which is fair. Which is not fair, but
well, these are still moves that you can make. Let's say if no one's getting injured or anything, I would still send that first and Tracy for Jahmyr Gibbs in the offseason or for Breece Hall in the offseason, for example.
Yeah, because this is projecting your first, like you said, if you are going to finish 10-4, you're most likely going to be at the end of the pack. Let's say this is like the 108 at worst in your Dynasty League or Dynasty rookie drafts, or later.
To me,
I would send that for the likes of like the Chris Olaves, the Brandon Ayuk's, the Rashee Rice.
I think I would send it for Rice, but I think if I did Brandon Ayuk, I need to have a kicker in there. Like plus, I want a second, but I'm gonna send you my first and a third.
Sure. Would you do that for like Rome? A late first for Rome?
I don't hate it. I wonder if you could do like a late first for Rome plus a second, like the same idea as like Ayuk.
Sure. Who else? What's Marvin right now? Where's he at on keep trade cut?
Yeah, Marv wouldn't be a terrible buy.
He's wide receiver. He's wide receiver 8 still. People are still liking Marvin.
Well, yeah, I think he should be there. Yeah, I still think he deserves being there. I mean, he's had like a decent
other names
season,
you can.
The expectations are way too high.
Yeah, other names you can do is, well, I guess keep in mind it is a standard. So the other names I was gonna say is like Jackson Smith and Jigba. What can we get for him?
Would love if we could do a first for JSN. Don't know if it's actually non-PPR though. You want to do that in a non-PPR?
That's why I said I'm not sure if it's gonna be right for non-PPR. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
I almost feel like we don't even need to buy a wide receiver.
Maybe we should just buy a running back then.
Yeah.
So then maybe we should look at the likes of like Monty. We should look at the likes of a well, I don't want to buy Najee Harris for a first, but you get what I'm saying. The James Conner, who just signed a long-term contract.
Yeah. Trying to think of ideas here. I would say
Josh Jacobs is interesting.
Josh Jacobs is a good name for sure.
Is actually a really good name because he's getting touchdowns right now.
He looks like a important part of their future.
Yeah, 100%. He is QB5 in a standard league.
Honestly, though, you could also turn your first into like a good young running back. So you don't have to sell your first either. This is a very stacked running back class. You know, you could end up with a, top 12 running back as a late first potentially if things go your way. So I think these are the main ideas I have. I feel like we're forcing trades if we go any further again with this team.
Yeah, it's okay to stay put. It's okay not to do a trade.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Troy,
tell us if there's any questions that you had that we didn't answer, anything that we didn't address that you wanted addressed. We always like it when you guys are here with us live. Makes it easier to give you all the answers you need. But Yeah, I think with your trade deadline passed, with you being 10-4, I mean, there's not too many moves that you really should make at this point, and your trade deadline's already gone anyway.
Achan? Sorry, I'm just thinking more names. Devon?
I don't know if I
But he's
trust HN in
PPR.
a
Nah.
non-PPR.
Yeah, non-PPR. Yeah, so true. Let me just see where he's at non-PPR standings. RB11, averaging
I mean,
12.9 fantasy points in a standard.
I'd give my left nut for Bijan in this league, but I don't think he's going to be selling Bijan. So, I mean, the only other idea I'd have is like a Tyrone in a first. I don't know, and a Tillman to start the conversation. I don't think it's going to happen, but again, our first plus Tyrone plus Tillman. I just don't think this is going to happen. But
Well, wouldn't it just be better to just do like 2 first then, and just keep the depth?
sure.
Because Bijan is just going to be huge in the standard league, regardless. Then,
2 firsts. And
especially if you're going to be contending next year, you're a contender now, and if we project you to be a contender next year, both of these firsts should potentially be late.
yeah, you keep
You
some
know.
depth for security. Yeah, I think those are some fine options. Again,
Yeah.
Troy, if you have any questions, anything we didn't address well enough, let us know.
And we would just position like we would just prioritize running back here. I'm assuming first
Yeah,
running back, then wide receiver, then tight end, then quarterback since this is standard.
yeah,
Or maybe
yep. Running back, wide receiver. I'd even put quarterback ahead of tight end.
I was gonna say quarterback feels more important because of they throw touchdowns in the standard league.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's all the ideas I have at this moment.
No, I think it's good ideas, to be honest. From what his team. This is a great team, so keep that in mind, Troy. We appreciate you. You'll get this playbook in 24 to 48 hours within the Flock Fantasy message section. So stay tuned for that. And once again, 24 to 48 hours, and you'll be able to receive that playbook. You'll be able to download it on your phone or desktop. And yeah, appreciate you.
Appreciate you big time. Honestly, full transparency, this is probably a team that would have been, we could have had more ideas in the offseason with if your trade deadline was already gone. But I think we tried our best to try and give you some good direction moving forward. So hopefully that was helpful, my man. And of course, if you ever want to get another team review, that a la carte section is available to you, but no pressure, of course. C. Nicholson, I don't know if he's here in the chat or not, but we're gonna push this one towards next week. And if you don't want it next week, let's say your trade deadline is this week, and you're like, no, I need ideas now. Just send us a message. I'm pretty sure you have us over on Discord, and we will push it to the redraft stream tomorrow. Okay, so that's how we'll handle that one. But again, guys, we appreciate all of you guys big time. If you do want your team reviewed, it's very, very simple. There's 2 ways you can go about doing it. The first way is by becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. All right. When you become a yearly member, you get the Dynasty Playbook, our 2025 Rookie Report. We need to update this graphic.
Yeah, we will.
All the premium tools. You get a free start sit voucher, a free trade question on the website, the databases, etc. And then 30% off any a la carte. Right. So if you plan on getting multiple team reviews, it really makes so much sense to be a member because you'll save long term anyway. Because you get discounts on the a la cartes, the team reviews,
a la carte section,
start sit, trade questions, any of that. But the other option is just by going to the a la carte store and purchasing a team review there, which I'll put that link in the chat. It's also in the pinned comment. But yeah, this playbook will be in your DMs. All right. Here very, very soon, Troy. So we appreciate you big time, my man. And obviously it'll be customized to your team and everything we talked about today. But yes, let's answer like a couple questions before we get off from people.
We did get a super chat, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Earlier.
Michael, I'm so sorry.
Michael.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I just scrolled up and I just saw it. He said traded CMC Mooney for Pickens in a 2025 fourth round pick.
I'm fine with that. In a Dynasty
I'm
league.
okay with that as well.
Super
I'm okay
flex
with that as well.
Dynasty?
I mean, I would say CMC and George Pickens feel really even right now, or Pickens feels like he's valued more. But I feel like giving up Mooney for a fourth is like, I wish you got in like a late second or even a third.
I agree, but if
that's
I had
because
Pickens right now, I wouldn't sell him for CMC straight up. You'd have to incentivize.
Sure. Sure. That's fair, especially like after last night.
Yeah.
Like, did you do that before,
Yeah.
or did you do that
Probably. Probably as
or
a
after?
reaction to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we have a question here from Matt. It says, I traded Jordan Mason for Jalen Warren 1 week ago. Holy moly. Well, that worked out for you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Was there any reporting of Jordan Mason's injury, by the way?
he
Because
played.
I did the waiver wire video on the
played, it was
redraft
fine.
channel, and then this morning when I wake up, our video has been out for 8 hours. Report comes out. Jordan Mason heading to IR. What? Oh, when did that injury
just
even
must have
happen?
It just must have been more serious. Like, he was probably playing through that injury, and then like got into the office yesterday or today. I was like, oh shit,
Crazy.
brother, like your knee's fucked, by the way. You're going on IR.
Oh, it's his ankle, isn't it? High ankle
Or
sprain?
ankle. Maybe your ankle. Yeah, maybe. There you go.
Crazy. What are we moving Horrendo for? I think if you get a second, you take it. A third, you hold and see what he can become. Y'all know I liked Isaac Horrendo. He finally gets his chance. I mean, during the NFL draft, I was like, fuck, he is buried in a depth chart.
I think it's
he's got a shot.
49ers could be open depending on how bad CMC is. I mean, this guy's struggling with injuries, Achilles. Now you have a knee thing. Does he call it quits?
I don't think so. I think he's just, it's that whole pride factor. He's probably going to, his entire offseason is going to be built around being the best version of himself.
Well, he was building the best version of himself this year.
Yeah, but there's just nothing you can do about what happened to him.
Injuries like that.
But
A top 8 pick in the 2024 rookie draft, according to our rankings, is coming onto the field right now, and people laughed at us. People said he should be a second-round pick at best. People said that he wasn't going to be the guy. Brother Bo Nix is coming up here with Sean Payton, is about to lead the first drive on the field here. He's looking like a dog. The helmets are clean. Anyway.
Yeah, I believe you. I'm gonna. Oh yeah, they're all whites. I love them. They look so good. Anyway,
Yeah.
We do appreciate you guys. Hit the like button on the way out. We're gonna go watch Monday Night Football, and yeah, still scouting the wide receivers. So don't worry, there is gonna be great content on the way for you. What you guys need to know is that I always try to put as much time and effort into understanding the class before I just put out a bunch of content, and that content is based on like other people's opinions. Like, that's why we're not smashing content out right now. But I am in the midst of scouting the wide receiver class, and then once we get through that, there's not many quarterbacks to scout, there's not many tight ends to scout, so there'll be a lot of rookie drafts after that, and be a bunch of content over Christmas as well. But we appreciate you for watching the video. We'll see you guys soon. All love.